Why I stopped riding horses even though I miss it every fucking day. I did not grow up in a horsey family, but my mom had always wanted to ride horses, but her family could never afford it. We never had enough money for me to own my own horse or lease my own horse, but I did take lessons at 5 years old and I kept doing it. I've always been a people pleaser, and I didn't really question the way that things were. I just assumed that the people above me always knew what they were doing. In high school was when I stepped back and had to ask myself why things were the way they were, and I was learning so much about horse abuse and what makes riding ethical and what makes riding not ethical. I remember for a while I was on Instagram and there is so much horse abuse all over the internet, and I would go commenting on people's posts telling them exactly what they were doing that was wrong, and I would have these hour-long arguments with people about why what they did was unethical. I was extremely passionate about it, but it also stressed me out so much, knowing that there were so many horses out there that weren't being treated right. Ever since I started watching This As Me, I wanted to be a show jumper. I envied what she could do, and that's all that I really wanted to do was do jumping. I was finally able to, maybe in like 2019. However, I began to notice a pattern the more jumping barns that I went to. On the surface, the horses I met tended to be well fed and looked to be in good condition, but there was a lot of behavioral problems, and very often those behaviors were only visible when I was grooming the horse or tacking them up, and then they'd go away once I was riding, or they'd only happen every so often while I was riding, like maybe the horse would buck every once in a while or refuse jumps or whatnot. I tried really hard to find a barn that prioritized both the riders and the horse's needs, but as far as I'm aware, it doesn't exist, at least not where I live. So eventually I just gave up. I stopped riding completely. There's a few retired horses at my barn that I could just walk and trot around on if I really wanted to, but it's not the same. I so desperately want my own horse on my own land